Years ago, murdering Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, he was sentenced to life in prison. No hope of parole for 25 years. And after his trial, Bernardo confessed to raping 14 women. What do you think of his application for day parole? Welcome back to the Barry Morgan Show. This is the free-for-all. You can send your texts to 514-800. Get your opinions in on the free-for-all this afternoon. Elise Rabbery, columnist and blogger with the Journal de Montreal. Hi there, Elise.
Hi.
Sabrina Betty on board as well, consultant for Crestview Strategy and a contributor to CJAD and CTV News Channel. Good afternoon to you, Sabrina.
Good afternoon, Barry.
We're going to begin with this. Pierre-Carl Pelado, who wants to be the Premier of Quebec and lead this province into its own country, or to become its own country, accused of lacking class after posting an old and widely circulated photo of Premier Couillard and Arthur Porter together with the caption, quote, "Mr. Premier, like many other citizens, I offer you my sympathies regarding the news of the death of your friend and former associate, Dr. Arthur Porter," end quote. Is this a lack of class on the part of the PQ leader? A little background, though. First, Couillard did found a medical-related company with Arthur Porter back in 2010 before he returned to politics and eventually became leader of the Quebec Liberals ahead of becoming elected premier last year. So Couillard has been accused of being buddy-buddy with an alleged fraudster, but is this in poor taste, trying to make political gain, perhaps, or some kind of a statement after the death of Arthur Porter? What do you think, Lise?
Well, Pierre-Carl Pelado is an impulsive man, so he didn't think that one through. I mean, this one wasn't sitting there waiting for Dr. Porter to die. Yes, to me it does lack class, but then when was the last time politics had anything to do with class?
Well, I suppose so. Nevertheless, I mean, there's one thing with criticizing political opponents and so forth, and bringing out, some things from background, from history and all that. And I know a lot of people have problems with Arthur Porter as well. Let's face it, the man was accused of being a fraudster, of pocketing millions of dollars in kickbacks because of the MUHC project. Nevertheless, I found this was in poor taste from a guy who, what would you expect, Supriya, from a guy who's put in his foot in his mouth so often? I think he has an orthodontist on retainer.
Yeah, then a periodontist called his bloody gossip must have getting his foot out. No, exactly. I honestly feel so bad for PKP's Director of Communications and his issues management staff, because they must have to deal with the most ridiculous, crisis communications and cleaning up his mess more often than not. And Barry, I agree with you. It does show a lack of class, but more than that, it shows a lack of appreciation of consequences. So, it's one thing to say something controversial and then expect that there's going to be controversy and have something in your back pocket to sort of defend it. But on this, it just seems like, Louise is right. He's an impulsive guy. He shot up at the mouth through Facebook, and now, he's being widely condemned for it. I don't think it was the time or the place. And other than, riling up maybe a few of his die-hard base members, I can't expect that the public at large is really reading that Facebook message and going, oh yeah, PKP has a point.
Yeah, you know what, and I give the Premier quite a bit of credit because he basically didn't respond directly. He didn't say, oh, this is right or this is wrong. He kind of deflected what PKP had to say, or at least what he had to write with on the line. So I give the Premier credit for that. But the broader question, I suppose, is it going to hurt Pelado? And I think the answer to that is really no.
Well, I did go around on social media to see what people were saying. I found, for what it's worth, that a small majority disagreed with what he said. Some were very upset. Probably they weren't biggest to start with. No, I don't think it's going to hurt him. As a matter of fact, it might even increase his popularity. He's mixing up himself as a politician who tells it like it is. We know there's great hunger for that kind of politics until we taste it. But, he's seen as, just another guy who, oh, well, I'm going to say this, and who cares what consequences? I think people like that.
He's kind of like our Rob Ford, basically, is that...
I mean, look, people want to always say about Rob Ford. Rob Ford is definitely a mayor who shot up at the mouth and didn't necessarily think things through, but he's also a very